Hey, this is Chris here. I want to further share more about the development of this channel. In this video, I just want to talk about some thoughts about developing a channel. I am been real. I've been really reluctant to try to really aggressively build anything. Really, the channel has been well. Let me step back. At the beginning, I was going to do just healthcare, end of life healthcare. And as I was making those videos were instructional, educational, and I want to continue making videos like that because I think it's important. But as I expanded beyond that and saw a lot more response, I became less interested in a professional, educational healthcare channel, and recognized when you add in the aspect of me sharing my thoughts on Christianity, where I'm as a pastor engaging in online ministry, it changes a whole different, or it changes how you approach things. You see, I don't ever want to be in gospel ministry for the money. One of the things that I see that I really think has led evangelicalism down the wrong path is there's all these evangelical entrepreneurs that have learned how to make millions of dollars or to be in control of millions of dollars of funds and assets, and having influence in such a voice that people listen, and having these adoring crowds that are almost on certain levels spiritual groupies. I don't know how else to say. And that builds you up, it puffs you up, and you have money and fame and influence. And that is a recipe to fall. That is a recipe in my book to compromise your faith, because the driver of what you do no longer becomes, am I faithful to Jesus? Am I doing what's right? It's, well, how do I keep this thing going? How do I keep the revenue flowing? What's the next big thing I can do for God's kingdom? And I don't want to, that's just not me. That's not driven by that. That's not me. And so I was wrestling with this idea of building up a YouTube channel with the question, what if I do better than what I imagine I would be doing? What if more money starts flowing in from the development of the channel that could be life-changing or life-altering? What if more people want to hear what I think and say, and all of a sudden I'm getting these requests to speak or do all these kinds of things? Now, I hear these things, and then I don't think I'm that person. I'm not the super, I'm not the thin, physically fit, smooth talking person that with that entrepreneurial spirit that tends to build these large ministries. So I recognize that, but there's been this fear in me that, what if this channel brings more success than what I'm comfortable with? And when I had my car accident, and the car was totaled, and it literally maybe a foot difference in where the impact was, and I wouldn't be here. And when I begin to realize that my days are ordained by God, I don't know when my time on this earth is done. I may have many years left. I may be gone tomorrow. As I begin to reflect on that and think about all that God has brought me through over the years, and my white hair and hopefully some wisdom, that there's some things that I think would be beneficial to people for me to share. And if there is any wisdom there, if it does connect with people, more people will want to hear and want to listen and be part of a community that's beneficial to them, especially in these times when so many people are feeling disconnected. I continue to be amazed at how many churches have just abandoned heavenly concerns, the concerns of the life and of their people, for earthly concerns of power and influence and building a Christian nation. And meanwhile, those people in their churches are dying inside, who are struggling, who have doubts, who have heartbreaks, and they're twisting in the wind, and they're being ignored for the sake of this triumphant Take Back America stuff. And so if there's a channel, and my channel's part of that, and I think there are larger, better channels, there are people much better than me that are doing these kinds of things. So I'm certainly not going to be the superstar, but I certainly could be a part of this. But that brings, like I said, it brings that concern, like what happens if it's more successful than I anticipate and revenue comes in. And one of the concerns I have is these multi-$100 million Christian organizations and communication organizations and churches that are driven by things that are we would consider idolatrous, that are leading people not towards Christ, towards a healthier spirituality, but towards a more self-destructive, self-indulgent, hedonistic kind of spirituality that does them no good, and they're pursuing all these earthly concerns. And what if I become, in other words, some of the very people that I critique and talk about as unhealthy to the evangelical movement and unhealthy to Christianity? So as I've reflected on that, what I think I'm going to do is work on opening channel memberships for several reasons. One is I want those who are most engaged and active in the community to be the people that I most interact with. So in these channel memberships, is the levels, this first level is, I'm just trying to make it almost like a token amount to be part of the community, just so there is some step and investment where I can post videos for like 48 hours to that community before they go out to the general channel. So I can spend the bulk of my time interacting with those of you who are most invested in the channel, most invested in what we're talking about, to have the most fruitful discussions, to use my time wisely. Then I was thinking of a second level of channel membership would be like a private live stream where not only do you get early access to videos, but we would maybe have live streams, and maybe, I don't know, I'd like to see it get to once a week, but maybe starting out once a month, maybe a little more, where we're talking about what's going on in the live stream, and then I can get more direct feedback from people as we're talking, and more directly interact with you all that are committed to be part of the community and building the community and highlighting comments and things that people are sharing. Now, I don't want, again, I don't want to just build a channel to build a channel. So I'd rather have people that are more invested to have these smaller groups live stream where we're discussing things and we have more productive conversations, rather than, I don't know, my dog is starting to growl at something in the backyard. So you might hear that in the background. Um, I want this to be about community engagement, and then so I guess what I'm saying is I'm trying to think about ways of building the channel to help foster engagement of a community, so we can productively encourage one another and help each other grow. And then the last level, probably it would be the highest level of commitment for these channel memberships, financial, once I figure it all out, would be for those of you that really want to be part of helping guide the channel, but also providing some level of accountability. What I envision is, these, I don't know how frequently, maybe quarterly, monthly things where there's Zoom calls, where there's other things where I'm laying out how the channel is doing financially, where things are, because that level of transparency and accountability, I think will help protect me and make me feel better from just, if things do take off, doing that all along, and then things take off financially, and say, oh wait, I'm not gonna show my finances anymore, would be to the biggest supporters of the channel, would be like, well, he's getting off track here, and maybe we need to call him out on this, because I would need to be called out on that. I want that accountability, because I don't want my life to be radically altered or changed financially by doing a YouTube channel. Now, I have this goal, this vision, this hope that maybe rather than other income streams, I could maybe devote full time to the YouTube channel. That would be great. It would be great to have that revenue, but I don't want to be making a whole bunch more than what I'm making now as a pastor and nurse. I have enough to get by. My wife and I are doing okay, and we don't want to live in a mansion. We're talking about actually getting a little manufactured home on a little, like 4 or 5 acre plot, so we can have the little hobby farm. But we're not looking for anything other than, I guess in other parts of the world you call them mobile homes, but just a manufactured home that's kind of our vision. It's not a big vision, but we're far enough on in our life that, riches and fame just don't appeal to us. So anyway, I've been thinking about that. I want to build out channel memberships. I want to do things and be more things, maybe so we could do the income, so I could be doing this full time. But I really need feedback from those of you who have been part of the channel, if you would be supportive of that, if that's a good idea, and would be very helpful for me as I just think about things as we move forward. Anyway, thank you for being part of this video, watching and listening, and please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much, and God bless.